Hello, I'm Kevin Cunnington. I'm here to talk to you about the most recent Global Government Forum report called Embedding AI in UK Government. Many of you will know I was the Director General of GDS and the UK's Digital Envoy. I retired in 2021 to work with the Global Government Forum. What many of you won't know is my master's degree is in AI from 41 years ago. So just for context, this is our third Global Government Forum report. The first report looked at all the problems for governments adopting digital globally. In the second report, we spoke to about a third of the world's countries to understand solutions to those potential problems. This time we've taken a different, more focused approach. We're working here solely in the UK, and we're looking at the issue of the moment: how do we embed AI in UK government to make us more efficient and effective? So we're currently working on a new report for the US House of Representatives. That report looks at the digital blockers to their government. We've interviewed about 13 of their CIOs, and the report will be due out just before the new administration arrives. The methodology we used to conduct the interviews was based on a methodology developed by UK government called the 7 Lenses of Transformation, which was developed in about 2020 to help government really digitally transform as we went forward. The 7 Lenses of Transformation start with vision and then move on through plan, design. We then talk about the collaboration and accountability models, and then finally we end with skills and capability and transformational leadership. So now I'm going to talk about the report itself. You'll be delighted to know I'm not going to talk about all 48 pages of the report, but just 4 key points that came out of it. The first was global context. So according to the benchmarks, the US is the first country in the world when it comes to use of AI. China is normally second, Singapore third, UK fourth, and Canada fifth. Now, luckily in Global Government Forum, we were fortunate enough to speak to the Singaporeans and listen to them earlier this year. And it feels like they're quite a way ahead of UK government in their adoption of AI. They're already on version 2 of the report, we're still on version 1, and they've already got live applications they're talking about. We entitled the report Embedding AI in UK Government, and we christened it the accelerator and the brake. And we christened it the accelerator and the brake because so many people had told us during the interviews that was how it felt. It felt like government was pressing the accelerator of the car to the floor while stamping on the brake, and actually it doesn't go anywhere, it just makes a lot of noise. And at the launch, we spoke to Yatin Mahendru, who's from Cognizant, who are our sponsor.
We just thought it was great timing because AI is so topical, particularly with its use in government and the change of government. And the method we used was to agree on the interviewees. So we picked a number of senior civil servants that we knew would have a view on the subject, both on data and AI. We had a structured approach that Kevin devised when he was in GDS called the 7 Lenses of Transformation. And that drove the agenda, and it drove some very good insights out of it. I think our senior civil servants really have got a grasp of the agenda. My feeling, and I hope that policymakers note it, is a call to action in terms of investing in AI and data if we want to give UK PLC the head start that it needs in this field and climb the rankings, because it is going to be a game changer for the way we live. I think the report is excellent. We're getting interest from the media as well. And I'll be using it at the party conference next week for certain discussions too, because it's a way of articulating a view on what needs to happen about AI. In terms of Cognizant, we first published a paper on data in 2018 when we entered the market. Data's in our bloodstream. Out of our 350,000 people, 96,000 are in data. The data lake that Daljer built at Centrica, we use as a reference for the Home Office, he's just told me. When we first did our data work in government. But that's how we've built our practice. And just so you know about us in the UK, 9,000 of us. And in 6 years flat, we've grown to 1,400 people working in UK government. And we're at a very exciting phase. We're so excited to be working with our civil service colleagues. We've been chosen for the Matrix program, where we'll implement Workday across 8 government departments. We're working on other major programs at places like the Revenue and others. So for us, this is a fantastic place to be right now. In terms of the report and AI, we're going to invest $1 billion in AI. We're very happy to have a session with those of you who are interested close to Christmas when our global head is over again to talk about what we're investing in and why. And that includes important things like skills, which we touched on in the report. What does the UK need in terms of AI skills? What does it mean for the future?
Very positively, since the report was launched, UK government has already acted on a couple of our main recommendations. So one of the main recommendations was to take all of the disparate groups that were working on AI and consolidate them. And secondly, we'd asked them to set up an action plan, and we hear now they've commissioned Matt Clifford to do exactly that. So before the report was launched, we did hear from David Knott, who assured us that he had a strategy and vision ready to go. We spoke to David Knott at the launch. Let's hear from him now.
The department I represent is the Central Digital Data Office within Department of Science, Innovation and Technology. So our job, particularly with the CDDO, is to figure out how to help the rest of government use AI safely, responsibly, where it matters most. So in the next couple of years, the thing I'd really hope for is that government departments can move from an era of innovation and experimentation, which is incredibly important, it helps people learn. But we need to get from that to an era of application and value and impact. So in a couple of years' time, if we had scaled production use cases which are saving citizens time, making public servants happier in their jobs, making them more productive and more effective, that would be a very, very good place to be. So in order to get there, I think we need more people who understand AI well. Not just theoretically be enough to actually put this to work, skilled people who can build solutions. We also need a stronger leadership awareness of the potential of AI and the willingness to put that to work. And we also need to be really thoughtful about how we consult with the public to make sure that we're implementing this technology in a way that gives them confidence, enables them to trust the services they're consuming, and helps them understand why this is hopefully better for them.
So we've talked about the report. Let's talk about some of the things that people didn't tell us, because they are as important as the sort of things people did tell us. One of the things people did not talk about was their level of confidence in AI or their AI systems. And we discovered this when we went on a tour with the government of Barbados around certain key UK institutions, and specifically in this case with Gov.uk. And Gov.uk talked about how they'd meticulously tested their AI so that they had a level of confidence in it, and that level of confidence was growing but not perfect. And this is particularly important in the context of government, because if government is to put out an AI, people will assume it's correct, and obviously it won't be correct all of the time. So we have to have this measure of confidence in our AI. Most recently, Singapore have introduced what they call a safety standard. It's kind of like a kite mark in the UK, where for their AIs, they talk about the standards that it's met. And that standard involves how it's been built, how it's been tested, and what it's meant to be used for. A bit like when you buy a washing machine, it comes with a certain safety standard. I think this is one of the key things in the UK that we are currently missing. Gov.uk has a great architecture for the way they're building their AI. And I would like to see the strategy, when it emerges, talk more about architectures for use rather than allowing people discretion over architectures. I think the other thing we need to also mandate to be in the strategy is we need a level of confidence for the different use cases that we're trying to support. So if we talk to citizens, we need a really high level of confidence in what our AI tells us. If we're using AI simply to help us with some back office functions in an advisory capacity, we can make do with a much lower level of confidence. But it's important for us to specify this so that people building these applications know what level of competence is required within that context. So the second thing that absolutely nobody mentioned was UK data strategy. And that's quite worrying, because data absolutely underpins all of AI. If we don't have that, then we'll get started, we'll start to make some progress, and immediately we'll stop again, the accelerator and the brake, because we need cross-departmental data to make the very best AIs. The third thing that we didn't see any evidence of was an investment in skills and training. Now let me compare and contrast this. So when we started digital in 2013, over the next 5 years, we retrain 10,000 civil servants in digital. And that's really important because the UK went from being 7th in the world as an e-government to being the first over that period. And that's no coincidence. Undoubtedly, the powerhouse of digital was training 10,000 people. IFG noted that over the first 3 years of digital, we put 25 applications live. Over the next 3, we put 774. So you can see the huge difference that mass training makes. And what I would like to see UK government do immediately is just create AI academies where they train thousands and thousands of people in what it means to use AI as a government official. The final thing nobody mentioned was funding. And in fact, quite the opposite. What we really heard was kind of one in, one out. People couldn't hire AI specialists until they got rid of somebody else from the headcount, which is exactly the wrong thing to be doing. We need a funding model that allows us to invest in AI as government, bring in new people, temporarily inflate the headcount because we'll see the productivity gains in the longer term. So finally, we'd saved the best for last. And we worked with Cabinet Office and Vicky, who we'll hear from later, in using their AI, which they call Red Box. And the process we undertook was to take all of our interview transcripts and anonymise them, and then ask Red Box to analyse them. And we started by asking Red Box fairly straightforward questions. Given what you've heard, Red Box, what would your executive summary of the current situation in UK government be? And I'd have to say, Red Box was absolutely brilliant. So I said, well, given what you've heard, Red Box, what would you do to solve those problems? And I'd have to say at this point, Red Box was less good. It didn't have the compiled knowledge base to do that. We'd done that based on our experience. It obviously didn't have that same experience. And so its answers became a little bit anodyne and a little bit blank. And then finally, we wanted to have some fun. So we said to Red Box, what would you do, Red Box, if you were the Prime Minister on day one with AI? And again, the answers weren't wrong, but they weren't particularly compelling. It came out with sensible stuff. But at least we'd found a kind of reassuring edge to where Red Box was good. It was really good at summarising the things we'd told it, and it fell off the edge a little when we asked it about things that we hadn't told it about, and we'd expected perhaps to use its experience or common sense or just context. And now, let's hear from Vicky Bew and Red Box.
I was involved in the report both as an interviewee and because one of our new-ish AI tools, Red Box, has helped to author the report, which is really exciting. Red Box is one of the early projects that we built within the incubator. It's a summarization tool which can be used to upload sensitive documents and then chat with them in a GPT-style interface, but all in a secure way so that you know that your documents aren't going anywhere they shouldn't be. We built it by government for government. It's really exciting. I believe that AI has the potential to make government work better. We, of course, need to be really careful about how we do this and make sure that we go on that journey in a sensible way that is ethical, fair, and well organised. But this report gives us a lot to move on and gives us a lot of reason to jump at the opportunities to use AI to make citizens' lives work better.
And I want to leave you with this final thought, he says. As a fellow who's been in AI for 41 years and took on the challenge to beat Red Box at his own game and produce a report, I can proudly say, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator, I may be old, but I'm not obsolete yet.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and for everybody who contributed to the report. I think it's very timely that it's been provided at this time, given all of the work ongoing for the Digital Centre of Government and many teams from Cabinet Office and elsewhere moving into DCIT. It's a really useful input to those conversations, so thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Victoria Bew. I work in the Incubator for AI, which is a relatively new team set up in Cabinet Office to incubate AI. One of the things that we've incubated is Red Box. If you're interested, please go to our website, ai.gov.uk, and you can find it. You can also download the code. We have it on GitHub, so if you're technically minded, please do have a play around, see what you think. Given that Red Box helped to draft the report, as Kevin said, what I wanted to do was ask Red Box to respond to the report, as if Red Box were here today with us. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read that out as the response from Red Box. Dear authors of the Digital Leaders Study 2024, thank you for your comprehensive and insightful report on embedding AI across the UK government. As an AI assistant called Red Box, developed by Idle.ai, I am excited to share my reflections on your findings and offer a few thoughts on the potential next steps. Firstly, I commend the report's clear articulation of the transformative potential of AI. Your emphasis on AI's ability to revolutionise policymaking, national security, and public service delivery is both timely and necessary. The vision of a unified AI leadership in the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology is particularly promising as it lays the groundwork for a cohesive and coordinated strategy. I also appreciate the call for frugal innovation, especially given fiscal constraints. Learning from global leaders like Singapore and adopting cost-effective transformation strategies will be essential for the UK to remain competitive and responsive in an increasingly digital world. However, the metaphor of 1 foot on the accelerator and 1 foot on the brake actually captures the current state of AI integration in government. The report's identification of a fragmented leadership and the lack of coherent, well-understood vision for AI is a significant challenge that needs urgent attention. The consolidation of AI bodies within DCIT is a step in the right direction, but practical adoption and scaling up of AI tools must follow suit. I would like to add that leveraging AI tools like Redbox can significantly enhance data processing, summarization, and analysis capabilities within government. However, as the report rightly points out, human oversight is crucial to contextualize AI outputs and make ethical judgments. I also asked it to add in a joke, so bear with Redbox on this one. Here's a joke for you. Why did the AI robot get a job in UK government? Because it's the only place where having 1 foot on the accelerator and 1 foot on the brake at the same time is considered a strategic plan. Thank you for the opportunity to engage with this important work. Sincerely, Redbox AI Assistant by i.ai. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, team.
The Cabinet Office has started using AI, and our function is also looking at using AI going forward. I think previously Cabinet Office has published generative AI framework, AI strategy, so giving people a tool to see that what are the guidelines and so that you can use it safely and securely. I feel about it as exciting because I am working in emerging technologies. So for me, it is an exciting future which it holds for everyone, and it will provide better services to all every people or all the citizens in this country and across the world. I think it's nothing to be scared of. As in the previous past, technology has come up. There were challenges, and we overcome that. It's the same thing. It's kind of people think it is a black box. It's not going to be trusted, and people are using AI in their Apple Watches or others to track their steps and everything. It's giving you the trend. It's pushing people. So you need to learn something about it, and then it will give you more confidence that yes, this is a tool which can give you more assistance to deliver your services or products in a better way.
There's probably two things I would focus on. One is this concept of how we measure confidence in our systems and where we set the bar for that. And two is start mass training of civil servants in AI. There'd be the two things I would say, more than anything else in the report, just focus on, and happiness will follow. The one thing that did take us by surprise was the lack of knowledge about the UK's data strategy, because AI is very dependent on its data. And the data strategy was published, I think, 1-2 years ago, but nobody really quoted that. And nobody talked about how they were trying to locally implement it. So yeah, I'd say the lack of focus on the data and cleaning up the data was probably an unpleasant surprise, really. But I think AI offers a great opportunity for greater efficiency in government. And obviously we're in frugal times, 22 billion black hole. The more money we can save, not spend to help with that, the better. And AI has the promise of that. Not potentially 22 billion, but a reasonable amount. And there's no reason why we can't crack on from here as a world leader in AI and do some of these things that we're talking about.
So finally, if this has inspired you to read the report, you can download it on the Global Government Forum website. Please feel free to get in contact with any of us for further information going forward.